Hello, here is a quick introduction for the RFL or Resist to Fault Locate application on the HST3000. The RFL application is typically used after another test has found a resist to fault to ground, such as a short to ground or a battery cross. If that fault is less than 20 megaohms, RFL can be used to pinpoint the location of it. The screen you currently see is the main copper measurements menu. To launch the RFL application, you can either use the arrow keys to highlight RFL and then press OK, or you can press number 8 on the keypad, since that's the number corresponding to RFL. The initial screen displayed is a single pair manual strap summary screen. This mode is best used when one side of the pair is faulted to ground and the other side is in relatively good condition. In this setup, you need to reposition your leads so that the green lead is connected to the good conductor in your pair, the red lead is connected to the faulted conductor, and the black lead is connected to the reference, which in this case is the ground. This test also requires you to put a strap, or 0 ohm short, across your pair at the far end. Next, you'll need to adjust the gauge and temperature to match your cable. Near the top, you'll notice that the left and right arrows change the gauge, and the up and down arrow keys change the temperature. For the temperature settings, most technicians enter the ground temperature for buried cable, and they enter a few degrees above ambient temperature for aerial cable. Additionally, before you begin the test, it's recommended that you verify your leads are properly compensated. To do this, short your tip, ring, and ground leads together, and press the fourth soft key, Start RFL. You'll notice arrows cycling across the screen and the letters DTS, distance to strap, DTF, distance to fault, and DSTF, distance from strap to fault, displayed on the screen. The first result displayed will be the size of the fault, in this case 0.00 ohms. Ideally, since the tip, ring, and ground leads are all shorted together, you should see 0 feet for the DTS, DTF, and DSTF readings. However, in this case, we got the response, invalid results. Check connections, strap, and retest. This is a good indication that we need to compensate our leads. If you receive any results other than 0 feet, that's another good indication that the leads need to be compensated or could even be damaged. To compensate your leads, press the first round key, Configure. You'll see a screen that instructs you to short your tip, ring, and ground leads together, and then press the fourth soft key, Compensate. This process takes a few seconds, and when completed, the current date and time will be recorded for future reference. Now that the compensation is complete, press the second round key, Home, to return to the RFL test. Now that we've compensated our leads, let's reinitiate the test by pressing the fourth soft key, Start RFL. Again, you'll notice arrows cycling across the screen and the letters DTS, distance to strap, DTF, distance to fault, and DSTF, distance from strap to fault, displayed on the screen. In this example, you'll notice the size of the fault is 0.1 ohms. Additionally, as the test completes, you'll notice that the DTS, DTF, and DSTF readings all show 0 feet. This means you're ready to connect to the pair and begin your testing. I'd also like to take a couple minutes and mention the multi-gauge cable setup and the separate pair manual strap mode. Press the second soft key, Actions, and select the second option, Use Multi-Gauge Cable Span. This mode is helpful when you have gauge changes on your pair or when the cable transitions from aerial to buried and vice versa. You'll notice the gauge and temperature adjustments at the top of the screen have disappeared, and we now see the message Multi-Gauge Table Empty. To complete the table, press the first round key, Configure, and you'll see the compensation screen. To go to the multi-gauge setup, you can either press the right arrow, as indicated here, or you can press the first soft key, Display, and then choose the first option, Display Multi-Cable Setup. As you can see, this screen allows you to add specific gauge, temperature, and distance information. Once you've completed the table, press the second round key Home to return to the RFL test. Press the second soft key Actions to toggle back to the single gauge cable span setting. Lastly, there are some scenarios where both tip and ring have faults present on them. To perform an RFL in these scenarios, you can use the separate pair mode. To launch this mode, press the first soft key Display, and then select the fifth option, Separate Pair Manual Strap. In this setup, you need to reposition your leads so that the green and blue leads are connected to the good conductors of your separate pair, the red lead is connected to one of the faulted conductors, and the black lead is connected to the reference, which in this case is the ground. To begin this test, press the 4 soft key Start RFL. After you've performed all of the RFL tests you need, press the Cancel key to return to the main Copper Measurements menu.